Hey everyone, Roger here again, and I'm just out here at Rauhala, and I'm going to walk to the bluff at Meynell Point, or else it's called Rauhalankallio in Finnish, and show you some of the marine life since it's low tide in the tide pools on the hardpan bluff. And it's a beautiful day here at Rauhala. Spring is in the air. Just let you hear the eagles behind me there as I'm walking to the bluff. And I'll show you why we call it the bluff. The real name for this geological feature is Meynell Point on the charts in Finnish. Again, it's called the Rauhalankallio, which means the Rock of Peace. And the reason they name nearby features after the main site of Rauhala. And this is just looking back from Rauhalankallio, Meynell Point towards Rauhala. And the bay is called Rauhalahti, the Bay of Peace. And basically the whole feature here is made out of hardpan, which is a conglomerate formation made out of sandstone, clay, and under hard pressure it solidifies and minerals replace the spaces in between and turn it into rock. Over millions of years. And you could find fossils in the hardpan formation as well. I'll show you a couple. And taking a look here, you can see a couple fossils. There's like a clam. I'm not sure what this is, but it's another shelled creature that is now extinct. And this formation dates back to the late Cretaceous period, so these were alive during the time of the dinosaurs. So this hardpan feature at the Rauhalankallio or Meynell Point is the oldest feature on Malcolm Island. Let's take a look at the tide pools here. You can see all these little green things. Those are sea anemones. Here's one of the tide pools I used to come and take a look at when I was a kid. Now, one of the things that protected Rauhala over the years was the hardpan bluffs block beach access to Rauhala. So back in the day, there was just the trail at the end of Meynell Road when I was a kid to get to Rauhala. Before that, there was a horse and buggy trail through the neighboring property that went all the way past Rauhala to other old homesteads that are now overgrown by the forest. But you can see here, you can't walk around this feature. And here's a sea anemone here. I'm just going to show you what happens if you touch the tentacles. It immediately gets sticky feeling, and it sticks to your hand. And that sticky feeling are these tiny little barbs that shoot out into your hand, but our skin is too thick to feel them. Otherwise I'd get stung. But for a fish, it'll paralyze the fish and then it just pulls it in and swallows it whole. And from Rauhalankallio here, I'm looking over towards Cormorant Island, and it is part of an extinct volcanic chain of volcanoes, and so is Haddington Island way off there in the distance. And Haddington Island got its name from the 9th Earl of Haddington, and I've said in previous videos that the Finnish name for Haddington Island is Kivisaari, or Rock Island. That's the place where the andesite was quarried long ago to build the Parliament buildings in Victoria. Now, as you can see, There's a steep drop off here at the bluff. And if you're here at the right time, a year when the whales are coming through, which should be pretty soon, they will come and roll and rub up on the bluff here. And it's not the killer whales or orca whales, depends what you want to call them. But I grew up calling them killer whales. It's not the killer whales that rub here, it's a couple minke whales that will come and rub up along here when the tide's up high enough. It's right at my level of my feet here along the edge of the formation, and they come and rub themselves on the rocks. But as you could see, there's no way you could walk around this formation. There's only one tide a year when the tide gets low enough, and it's usually in the summer, that you could walk right around. Other than that, this completely blocks off the beach access to Rauhala, to the rest of Malcolm Island. If you were to get to the other side of the bluffs here at Meynell Point, closer to Cleva Road, they called that side of the bluffs Rauhalankallio, and that's named after John Poto, who homesteaded above me here on this is why they call it the bluffs. Up there, on top of the bluff, was the Poto farm, which neighbored, or Poto farm, sorry, not Poto farm, that neighbored Rauhala. Looking down here, you can see this huge crack or crevice in the rocks. Down here, take a look. Goes down quite a ways. I'm not going to go down there, but I am going to show you something neat over here. So far off in the distance, that far point, way over there, that is Second Point, and around that point is Kotinimi, which means home point, and they called Kotinimi home point because the old-time Finnish fishermen knew as soon as they'd get around Kotinimi that they were approaching home. And we're looking here. I'm just going to pan across, looking at Cormorant Island, the mountains in the background, our northern Vancouver Island, and looking back behind me. There's another big crevice breaking off this giant piece of hardpan from the formation. And I want to show you something really cool. Now up there is a tiny little cave. I'm just going to climb up there and show you. I'm just going to attempt to climb up here holding the camera. And here we are. It's not much of a cave. Doesn't go in very far. And this is the view from that cave that I'm showing you. I'm sitting up here. This is a neat little spot that I sometimes come to contemplate. So this is something I do whenever I can. I'll sit here by the cave on the bluffs at Meynell Point or Rauhalankallio and stare out at the water. Just enjoy the view and relax. From my vantage point here, it's a long ways down. And when it's high tide, I'll come here again sometime and show you what it looks like then. Alright, I'm just going to climb back down from this rocky ledge where I'm sitting at the cave, back down the bank here. And we'll head on back to Rauhala. There's that crevice again, so I'm just gonna hop over it. And I'll show you from here. There's a good vantage point where you could see how steep the drop off is. So when the tide's at level with the rock formation, it's quite a steep drop. And I've been here once a long time ago, just as the whales were rubbing here, and it was kind of neat. It was at nighttime, and there was phosphorus in the water, which is this organism, that bioluminescent organism, and when you disturb the water, it looks like lights in the water, and then the water starts to glow. And I could see this big barreling body of a whale just below my feet right here, rubbing up on the bluff. And I've been to Rauhala on many occasions when they are rubbing here, but I've only been lucky to be in this area once when they were right here doing it. So you can see it's quite a drop off. And during storm season, the waves really hit here hard. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day here at Rauhala today. There's some ducks there. There they go. Now, way off in the distance there, I don't know if you could see it too clearly, but there's that tiny little island there. It's called Stubbs Island. And it's not called Stubbs Island because it's a stub. It's named after someone. But that island is it's just a spire of rock sticking up, like a pillar of rock sticking up in the water. And it was formed during the last ice age when the glaciers were carving out the landscape here. You could see how the tops of the mountains are all flattened and rounded off from the glaciers coming over. And in Finnish, they called that Ruussen Limpusaari, which means Russian Loaf Island. All right, let's head back to Rauhala. Just found the top of some old-fashioned bottle. I've never seen anything quite like this before. Now that is neat. All right, I'm gonna head back to my truck and head back into town. I hope you enjoyed this short video about the bluffs at Meynell Point or Rauhalankallio, and I will see you all in the next video. Ciao.